Megan, I knew I was going to like this interview just from the content, but you've also been so patient. As listeners can see if they're watching on YouTube, I'm in my car right now. We're doing like a version of carpool karaoke thanks to a dentist appointment that went long. But you were so sweet and understanding. And I just, you get that vibe. You know, you're going to like somebody. And I know we're going to like you. Um, but for all of our, I mean, like I said, I was very excited for the topics, but we start every interview with a question. And what did you wish you had known before becoming a solopreneur?
I wish that I would have started sooner and stopped waiting for everything to be perfect. I feel like in the beginning, I wanted to have everything planned out, or I waited years to actually do what I wanted to do. Like, I had the idea of doing what I do now in 2020, and I didn't do it, and I didn't start it until 2024. And I look back and I'm like, wow, I could be so much further along in my journey if I would have just started. And I feel like if you start messy, you learn as you go. So I guess what I wish I knew was that clarity comes after you do the action. Just do the thing. That's what I wish I would have known.
Do you mind me asking what made you finally decide to do it?
I feel like what made me finally do it was because I am an introvert, I needed to see that something was gonna work before I, like, went all in on my dreams because I could get discouraged easily. So, I had made money on and off social media in between that time. So, in 2020, when I first wanted to, like, have a course and help other people and coach other people and all those things, I don't think I was in the place to do it yet. I wanted to do it, and I probably could have made it happen, but I feel like I spent a lot of time doing like freelancing and the UGC and like the Amazon, like the introvert side hustles where I got the confidence to do what I do now. So it comes across a lot more like authentic, for one, because I've done the things for so long. And two, I feel like it gave me confidence to where I had made a lot of money online to where I could talk about it, more confidently. At the time, I don't think I would have started then, like, looking back, but yeah, I had more confidence because I made money pretty
Okay.
much.
Clarification. So you said UGC, which is user generated content. What side of the coin were you on with that? That is, either, well, like we've hired people to create content as users for our stuff. Were you the hirer or the hiree?
I was the hiree. I was the person doing the content because it's very introvert friendly because you don't have to have any followers. You don't have to be
Ah,
famous at all,
okay. So
you
you don't
know?
mind getting in front of the camera. You just don't want to try to get famous, which, Carl, this is bringing back memories of that podcast from a few years ago about the that TV show where the guy didn't want to get famous and he did.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
what
true.
has happened to me. Like, I'm not famous, but, like, I grew a following from talking about how people can make money without followers.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
weird.
okay, so let's talk about that. You do help people earn online without chasing followers, like you're saying, or going viral. So for solopreneurs who feel behind on social media, and again, going off of I should have started earlier, what mindset shift do they need to make first before they can be successful with this?
I think every person in any business needs to realize, especially with UGC, you don't need followers. You don't need a big portfolio to do this. Like, anyone of any age can do it. That's what I tell people. Like, I literally scroll job boards all the time and I see them hiring like 70-year-old women. I'm like, you have to think about it as like every brand has a target audience. And I think when you think about it like that, you're like, oh, well, if that's the case, it doesn't matter what I look like, what I sound like, and how old I am because every brand has a target audience. Like, I'm 31 years old. I'm not going to be the target audience for Medicare or whatever. I use that as an example, but you know what I mean. So I think the mindset shift for this specifically would be you don't need to have this big, grandiose business following portfolio to get hired and get paid. But for any solopreneur wanting to start any type of business, I think the mindset shift needs to come from a place of it's going to work out. And this is who I am right now. Like, embody the identity of what it is that you want to be from the start. And I know that's hard when you don't have like stuff to back it up, but like if you're going to be a UGC content creator, don't say I'm going to be, say I am. And I think that helps. It helps you embody that and be really good at it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you have an anti-influencer method that focuses on systems, again, over popularity. So what are the core systems that you think every solopreneur should have in place if they're trying to monetize their content?
So I always tell people that a core system would be batching content, just like technically batching content and, getting ahead of the game because you can get really out of whack easily. Like, for example, it's a snow day here and I really don't want to be creating content. My whole family is here and it's chaotic and messy and there's mud all in the house and I'm overstimulated. So it's great that I had batched content last week for this week, right? So I can just post my content, send my content into my UGC gigs that I have to do. Like I'm set, I'm not overwhelmed. So batching content is very important. But the systems that the anti-influencer method does focus on obviously is batching content, being organized so you don't get overwhelmed. But the thing that I think a lot of people from coming from UGC or making money with content is instead of having brands come to you in the beginning, you go to the brands. You find where they're posting opportunities so you can apply to them. Because for one, it's a brand that's already looking for work. You just need to apply to it, put yourself out there. You're going to get hired 99% quicker than if they are looking for you. Because as a beginner, and I teach people not to post on social media to get brands at the start because for one I work with a bunch of introverts. I work with a bunch of shy people. I say go out, do as much work as you can, even if it's $15 for a photo, $20 for a photo, whatever. That's going to give you experience, confidence that you can then build that portfolio up while making money, right? It's like on the job training, pretty much. So everything is revolved around not building a following.
So when you say go out and find them, how are you finding them? I mean, I know there's places like Fiverr where you can hire people to do UGC, but you're talking about something else, right?
Yeah, so there's a bunch of platforms and apps like Join Brands, Incense, Billow, where brands literally post jobs every day that everyday people can go on and apply to, and you don't need a portfolio because those apps have kind of what you call like it's like where you go on there and you do a pitch video. They tell you exactly what to do and they send that pitch video to brands when you apply to them. So this app is setting you up for success already. Join Brands does the same thing. And so I think that helps people that have never done either anything online or never done content to where they're like, oh, okay, they told me exactly what I need to do. I did it. Now I can apply to jobs day one.
I got to ask another question. So one of the things we talk about all the time at Lifestyle for Solopreneurs is basically positioning your product, whatever it is that you're doing, and finding a niche and really getting specific about what you do and who you do it for. How does that tie into what you're talking about here? Do you think it's important to do that when it's trying to do UGC, or do you think it's just kind of like, oh, they're looking for somebody that's 31 years old, female, with kids, and or something like that? Or, do you think that niching down more is valuable?
I think I have a controversial take on this, and some people agree with me and some people don't. I say no. In the beginning, don't do it. You're going to limit yourself. And I think in the beginning, you're trying to get experience and you're trying to make money. So I tell people, because I've done literally content for every brand, like furniture brands, travel brands, pet brands, like literally everything that's not even related to anything that I talk about. But I did it because it gave me experience so then I could build a portfolio. Now, after you've been in it a while, you're going to start to understand what it is you like and what you're good at. That's when I think you should niche down and start to pitch brands that are more in your interest. Like at this time, because where I do work with a bunch of content creators, I pretty much only do UGC for like apps, website services that relate to content creators. Like I'm like kind of like the face of a brand that's not even my brand. Like if you went and looked at their page, it's all my face, but it's all just UGC. I don't own the brand. I'm just there to help them convert, get people to sign up. But because I'm known in the space of a person that helps content creators, it just translates so nice because they trust me in that space. So that brand can benefit from, my audience as well, pretty much.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, so what mistakes do you see introverted solopreneurs make when they're trying to grow online? So we're talking about the audience here, but what else, what issues do you see come up?
It kind of goes back to before. I feel like introverts and a lot of people in general feel like they need to have this whole thing situated before they start making money online. So that would be they need to have this huge portfolio of work. Like I try to tell people like everyone's a beginner at some point in their journey, right? Like everyone puts themselves out there. Yes, it may be a little awkward, but I think the confidence building is a huge part, especially for introverts because they're putting themselves out there and in front of people, pretty much because some of these brands might use them as Facebook ads or something like that. So, yeah, you have to build your confidence. And I say, you have to step out of your comfort zone a little bit to, make the money. You have to, nothing changes if nothing changes. Right. And so I think for introverts, the biggest thing that I see is people say, or the biggest mistakes that I see is they try to focus on the wrong things. They're like, oh, I need to spend a year building this portfolio off of test content or something. Like they haven't even landed a job yet. I'm like, go land a job first. then worry about that. Or they want to build a website, or they want to niche down in the beginning. I'm like, it limits you in the beginning.
I want to circle back to you being the face of some of these brands because not everybody wants to be the face of a brand. So from your experience, what are some powerful ways to grow or earn online without being that face?
Yes. So I'm the face of another brand and then obviously my own brand. And, it is hard as an introvert because people have opinions about you or whatever. And I've kind of just gotten to where I'm like, I don't even read comments. But other people, I would say there's ways to make money online faceless. And that's a huge growing niche that I help my creators land opportunities in. So if they're very shy or very introverted and they don't want to be the face of a brand, there are tons of brands out there that will hire faceless creators, whether that is doing like faceless for like a physical product, like you're showcasing a product and you're not in the video at all, or where you're doing like carousel type UGC, where it's like just the slides that are talking about a specific product. That's a growing thing that a lot of my creators are doing now. So you don't have to be the face of a brand. Um, and again, none of that, you don't have to create your own brand to do this. You can help other brands grow their products through various channels.
Well, so speaking of those channels, you help creators earn money through like Amazon on-site commissions. We've been talking about UGC, freelancing, let's say TikTok shop. How can a solopreneur figure out which of these income streams kind of best fits their personality and skills?
Yes. So I actually put together a quiz that people can take, and it's basically based on their personality, the time they need, and their interests, and it will tell them exactly which one is the best for them. But for someone that doesn't want to take a quiz, I think you just need to think about it like, how soon do you want to be paid? How shy/introverted are you? How much money do you want to make? And, how much time do you have to devote to this? So, for example, Amazon on-site commissions, Amazon reviews, you're not going to get paid for 60 days. And that's 60 days from the time you earn your first commission. So it's a great side hustle. I love it. I still do it to this day, but it's going to take you 60 days to earn your first dollar. So if you have time to devote to that, great, go for it. UGC, you can literally get paid your first week if you land a job and they pay you up front for the content. Like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then freelancing, same thing. If you land a retainer, you could get paid up front. You could get paid half up front, or if you're doing a project. And then TikTok Shop is kind of like Amazon. It's not 60 days anymore, but it can be 30 days. So TikTok Shop. So yeah, I like to tell people, or my quiz kind of goes into that, like how soon do you want to be paid type thing. And it will help people figure out like what's best for them and their personality and time devoted.
So if they're trying to figure this out, it sounds like it could be overwhelming. Let's say they don't take the quiz and they're trying to figure it out on their own. Like, I feel like it's a lot of grasping at straws at first. And it's kind of like, I'm trying to do this, but I'm also trying to do this. How do they beat that overwhelm?
Yes, great question, because I've done all of these side hustles at one time and it can be overwhelming. Everybody that comes to me and asks me this question, I'm like, you have to just start with one. You can't do all at once. If you do all of them at once, which is great, yes, multiple income streams, woohoo, but you're going to get overwhelmed and then you're going to stop all of them. So I really tell people to pick one, stick to it, learn it, like do it for a few months, then add on other income streams if you want to, because they're all kind of related, especially Amazon, UGC, and TikTok Shop. Once you learn the skill of like creating good content, editing, all the good things, you can use that one skill and put it across all of the different side hustle ideas, especially these four, and get paid for it in multiple different ways. And I think multiple income streams is important, but I think not getting overwhelmed at this in the beginning is even more important, because if you do all of them at once, try to learn all of them at one time, you're going to stop before you ever get started.
When I think of recording my videos, I always think like, oh, I have to be on right now. Like I have to be not in my car. I have to be like have my makeup on. What does UGC look like when you're doing it quietly and sustainably, like you were just saying, kind of the way you teach it?
Yeah, so honestly, they want real people. They want authenticity. So, some when I go to film my UGC gigs, I may slap on some mascara. It kind of depends on like what the brand is too. But especially if it's like a mom brand or if you're talking about like two specifically moms, you want to kind of show up as you are, right? And I like to tell people too, I don't live in a fancy house. I live in a double wide. I've lived here since 2015, and I think that's another roadblock people have. I don't have an aesthetic house. I don't have this. I don't have that. And I'm like, you don't have to have any of that because user generated content is based around real users of products, not influencers, not celebrities, not, all these good things. So doing it quietly means you're doing it from home. Nobody even has to know you're doing it. Your friends, family don't have to know you're doing it. And like my friends and family didn't know I was doing it for years until I finally started posting about it on social media and talking about it. And that just means showing up as you are. You don't have to be on, you don't have to put on or anything like that. You show up as you create the content and the brand uses it in various ways.
What do you think one underrated content strategy is that works really well for solopreneurs, but nobody talks about it very much?
I feel like it's becoming more talked about, but it was something that I learned very early on when I did TikTok shop is the rage bait content. I know it's bad. Oh, I know it's bad, but it works because that was actually how I had my first viral TikTok shop video ever. And it made me $50,000 one video.
What did you do for
And
it?
so actually I didn't know I was rage baiting at the time, but when I look back, I was like, oh, okay. So basically what I was talking about was a dry shampoo product. And I was listing out the ingredients. And because I'm Southern, I guess that's triggering to people, for one, my voice. And two, I pronounced something wrong. Instead of saying cacao powder, I said cacao powder. And, people would, like, drag me for it. They were like, "What did you just say?" And, like, literally for months on end, people were just like, "Oh my gosh, she must be illiterate since she's from the South. She must not know how to read," like, all this stuff. So, like I said, at the time, I was just reading ingredients, but little did I know I rage baited people. So, literally for, like, the next month, I just would pronounce stuff wrong on purpose, and it worked, and I made a bunch of money. And it's something that I've shared with other people, and they've done it.
That is
Do you get
hysterical.
paid off of impressions or clicks, or how do you get like? Because it sounds like you made a lot because it was so successful, so you don't get paid an upfront amount, or do you? Or is it just based off of how the video performs?
Yeah, so for TikTok Shop specifically, you get paid when someone buys the product from your video. So like the engagement from that was pushing it out to people that actually like the product. So like, yes, there was a bunch of people being rude, but then there was a bunch of people that were like, "Oh, I love this product." And, so it kind of worked. And then um you can get paid for views on TikTok as well, so the rage bait thing works, but you have to have 10,000 followers and you get paid from views. So basically your account would set you up on like what you get paid based on
So
your engagement.
not necessarily for the 0 follower people out there listening.
Yes, for the TikTok shop, you have to have 1,000 followers to be able to do it.
Okay. Well, so in the beginning of this episode, you emphasized that confidence was huge for you and a key part of your method. So for solopreneurs who doubt whether anyone will care about what they create, how do they build that confidence without external validation? Like we were saying, like views or likes. I just want of a vacuum.
Yes, so true. I think the quick wins is where it comes in. So something like UGC, like even if UGC isn't what you want to do, I really suggest everyone start there because you're going to learn good content skills from brands and you're going to get put on, like with brands that will give you scripts and helpful tips that you maybe can use in your business as well. So at the basis of every good business is good marketing and good content, especially in today's age with everything being on social media. So I tell people that they need to get quick wins. So you're going to feel 10 times more confident if you can go on Billo and you apply for a job and they're going to pay you $80 for one video. You create that video, you get $80 in your bank account. You're like, okay, this is real. It feels more real. It feels more tangible. And you feel like if I can make $80, I can make 800. If I can make 800, I can make 1,000. If I can make 1,000, it just keeps stacking to where you're building your confidence through the quick little wins. And I feel like the strategy really works, especially with my students, because they will then branch into other things. Like I have a bunch of people who started as a UGC creator and now they're a campaign manager for a brand, or now they're a creator manager. Now they have this, they're doing this huge thing for a brand that like they never thought they would do, but it's just building the confidence to know that if I can do this, I can do that.
Just so crazy how fast things are changing. Like I'm thinking about my college degree and like how this wasn't even remotely on a radar, but like just the careers that
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about it.
I was talking to my
The intro what?
What's social media? But I just think this is so fascinating because it's a world that's obviously exploding right now. But people do think you need all of those followers and everything to be successful, and you're proving them wrong. And I have no doubt people listening will find success with this because of listening to you today. So we ask all of our guests this question. What is your favorite quote about success?
Slow growth is still growth. That is my favorite quote. And I feel like like if you look back at my journey, I left my job in 2020 and here it is 2025. Now I'm to this point, right? But it didn't happen overnight. I think people that just come into my world look at me and they're like, "Oh, it happened so fast for her." But I'm like, no, it didn't. Like I started in 2020. I became a social media manager. I did that for 3 years. I built an agency. I learned the ins and outs of social media, what works, what didn't work. Then I became a UGC creator in 2023. Amazon influencer, TikTok shop affiliate. I did all that. Then I built the anti-influencer method in 2024 and it's been launched for a year. So even that has been a slow growth. I have 2,000 members in there now, but I didn't launch it and get 2,000 members. It's been a slow growth, but it's all been so worth it. And that's what I tell everybody. Like you're stacking your wins. You get into Amazon influencer. That's a win. That's growth. You get into TikTok shop. That's a win. That's growth. Like you're going. You're going to get to where you want to be, but it's just slow growth.
Patience. Yeah. So Megan, if people want to learn more about this, learn more about you, where should they go?
So you can find me on TikTok at Meg the Creator _. And then also my website is megthecreator.com.
I love it. Joe, this is so great. I'm like, I'm going to go create a UGC video right now.
For what?
We're going to go pronounce something wrong and make 50 grand today. I know that's not exactly how it works. I did listen to you. Slow growth is still growth.
It is. It is.
Well, Megan, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, please leave a 5-star review. It helps us spread the word to other solopreneurs. Subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast platform, including YouTube, and share this episode with a friend. And we will see you next time on the Aspiring Solopreneur.